We take you back in time some 38 years ago. In a bitter December of the year 1971, war broke out between India and Pakistan once again. It was the Navy that was given the strategic task of denying both East and West Pakistan access to war supplies. East and West Pakistan were two separate geographical entities, more than 1,600 miles apart, and the only way Pakistani forces could be sustained was through the sea. The aim was a complete naval blockade of both parts of Pakistan. It was the Western Seafront that was witness to one of the most audacious and daring attacks in the history of naval warfare. It was here that a bold plan was conceptualized and implemented, one which required ingenuity, perfect timing, and absolute emphasis on the element of surprise. The plan, ladies and gentlemen, was to set ablaze Karachi Harbour. This historic port of Karachi harbored Pakistan's naval headquarters, the entire naval fleet, and almost the entire commerce of the country. And the ships chosen for the mission were the sleek and stealthy Osa M-class missile boats. Osa in Russian means wasp, and these mere 37-meter-long fast attack boats could achieve very high speeds of up to 40 knots. These boats carried the newly acquired P-15 missiles, and among other short-range weapons were the twin AK-230 anti-missile high-rate of fire guns. The reason for this unorthodox, bold decision was that these tiny missile boats would provide for difficult, fast-moving targets in the absence of friendly air cover. This offensive was named Operation Trident. The ships chosen for this offensive were INS Nipat, INS Veer, INS Nirghat, INS Vinash, INS Nashak, INS Vidyut, INS Vijita, and INS Nirbhik. Because of the inherent limited endurance of these boats, a tactical decision was taken to tow these vessels up to a certain point south of Karachi Harbour, from where they would proceed at full speed to carry out the attack and disperse. Also, the Indian crew that was just back from the USSR after commissioning these boats was fluent in speaking Russian. This factor was extensively used, and all communications between the attacking vessels was in Russian, so that even if intercepted, the tactics would not be given away. These tactics and methods introduced catalyzed the success of the operations. By the afternoon of the 4th of December 1971, the strike group was on its way to Karachi. In the darkness of the night, the ships silently crept up, hugging the Saurashtra coast, before breaking out seaward. As they neared Karachi, they detected some Pakistani ships patrolling the area. The boat on the left, INS Nirghat, was detailed to engage the contact, which was later confirmed to be the Pakistani destroyer, PNS Khyber. The first missile hit Khyber on the starboard side and exploded below the aft galley in the electrician's mess deck at about 20 to 45 hours, Pakistan time. The ship immediately lost propulsion, plunged into darkness, and was engulfed in thick black smoke. Khyber sent out an emergency transmission which read, "Enemy aircraft attacked in position 020, Foxtrot Foxtrot 20. Number 1 boiler hit. Ship stopped." This meant that the Pakistan Navy did not even know what hit them. 3 minutes later, a second missile was fired with acute precision. It exploded into the number 2 boiler room on the starboard side and sealed the fate of the Khyber forever. By this time, the port of Karachi was about 32 miles away, clearly painting on the radar. INS Veer reported a contact fine on her starboard bow, which was later learned to be a Pakistan minesweeper, the PNS Mohafiz. Veer fired 2 missiles at the contact at about 2320 hours. The missiles hit the Mohafiz on the port side above the bridge and instantaneously disintegrated the vessel, throwing much of its crew into the water. Mohafiz did not even have enough time to transmit a distress message. The ship's debris continued to burn for 70 minutes while the survivors floated around. Nipat, showing utmost bravery, continued towards Karachi, and from a distance of 14 miles from the harbor, fired a missile in the direction of the entrance. Never before was a missile purely designed for anti-ship roll used for land attack. 1 minute before midnight, the missile scored a direct hit on one of the giant Kiamari oil tanks, spreading lethal flames in all directions. This spread to other tanks, and a huge explosion shot up over the horizon. The Navy has avenged the provocation and celebrated Diwali in its own unique way. Radio silence was broken to transmit the code, Angar. This meant the successful completion of Operation Trident. Having achieved much more than what the ship set out to do, it was now time to get back safely. The passage homeward was ridden with its own set of tribulations. The ships were now vulnerable to Pakistani air attacks. Veer developed machinery problems, and its speed was reduced. The same happened with Nipat when its fuel hosepipes gave away. And in the meanwhile, Pakistan Radio put out a message that an Indian vessel had been sunk. INS Nipat, the only boat not accounted for at the time, was feared sunk amidst tense and confusing moments. But Nipat returned in the night on the 7th of December to a hero's welcome, all thanks to the ingenuity of its engineers, who managed to take out oil from the pumps and used it to run the engines.